It's hitting, okay? And welcome to another exciting episode of Mysterious Forces Live. And I'm having a great time here at the 2019 International UFO Congress right here in Phoenix, Arizona. We're at the Sheraton downtown, and I am really interested in the conversation that we're going to have with these two gentlemen. They have a new company. It's called BitMovio, and it is a competitor to YouTube, but it's even better than that. I've had an extended conversation with them this afternoon, and their platform is like the best that you like about Patreon and the things that were easy to use about YouTube, and blend those two elements together, and they have their own platform. And I know that myself and other content creators, especially in the alternative research community, have been bemoaning lately that YouTube is marginalizing independent content creators and pushing them to the side. And I've been saying that for a while. I've said it on a couple other episodes, that YouTube is trying to turn into Netflix, and they're going to push all of us independent content creators aside. However, these guys have a great idea on how to catch all of us independent, creative people, give us a platform that is not censored, gives us a platform where you don't have to have a minimum number of subscribers in order to get donations. And I'm not going to try to over-explain it too much because they can do it much better than they can. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'll ask the questions, and we'll guide this conversation along. So without much further ado, you guys go ahead and take turns introducing yourself, what you do with the company, and then we'll move on to topics about what you're doing.
Okay. Hi there, I'm Jerry Kowal, co-founder and chief content officer for BitMovio. Helped start the company a little over a year ago. Our site's been live for the last few months in a beta, but it's open and ready to use and ready to welcome you. And you know, BitMovio is really trying to create a platform where creators can feel empowered to distribute their content in any way they feel they'd like, without any fear of censorship or editorial control. They can choose from a variety of different business models, ads, transactions, freemium, in terms of how to make money off their content or how to monetize their channels. And for users, you know, we're doing things like offering users rewards for interacting with content, viewing videos. We have a virtual currency called MoviBits that users can earn on our platform and use to tip their favorite creators and also unlock content that may cost $1 or $2. So it's really a pretty interesting, robust platform that we think is sort of a next generation video experience for users of the Fortnite generation and beyond who want something more compelling than what YouTube and others are offering today.
Hello there, I'm Cameron Erbst. I'm a summer intern here, kind of an all-around intern and helping out at these conferences. As Jerry was saying, we're really pro-creator. We really want to help out the small creators, share their voice, have more freedom with what they create and post. And I think that's really important nowadays in this day and age. And that's really our main basis here and our goal.
So I know that as we were talking this afternoon, you know, it kind of slowly dawned on me that this was like a melding of the best of Patreon and then the best elements of YouTube. And that's when I really started to get interested. Especially people in the alternative research community and ufology. This is already a marginalized topic, and we've all been talking about what YouTube is doing to content. And I'd like you to talk about your policy on no censorship, except for, of course, in certain cases, what the parameters are of that content and the freedom that people would have with their own content on your platform.
Sure, happy to do it. So other than illegal content, you know, content that's sort of clearly illegal or is infringing on someone else's intellectual property, which we, you know, have an obligation to take down, there are no restrictions whatsoever. There's complete freedom to post whatever you want. And in partly why we're here at the conference and we're so interested in the paranormal category is that, to your point, we've seen that category of creator be sort of marginalized and diminished by YouTube and others, in part because they're serving a different audience. They're serving their advertising audience, their corporate bosses, whether it's Google or Amazon in the case of Twitch, for example. And ultimately, the interests of the creators and of the users, frankly, is not front and center. It's about collecting data and using that data to sell more ads or sell more Amazon echoes. So, we think there's a huge opportunity here to kind of bring back power and return power to creators and users alike. And in this paranormal genre in particular, we feel that creators have been really silenced in a way that is antithetical to the internet and to, open dialogue and free speech. And so we stand in support of that.
I think you covered that well.
Okay.
I've got a really smart audience. These are thinking people, and they ask tough questions. And part of what I want to say to my audience is I don't easily endorse things without looking into it and asking questions. And I've talked to these guys twice this afternoon, and I asked tough, pointed questions, and they were very quick to answer the questions. They have an answer for it, and I just wanted to have them share it with you. One of my first questions was, unlike YouTube, how do you make money? How do you generate revenue for your company out of this? And how does that differ from the way YouTube is doing it?
Sure. So, despite its efforts to kind of become a subscription business and have more premium content, YouTube is primarily an ad-based business. And even more specifically than that, they're a volume-based business. So they're just about generating as many video views and ad impressions as they can globally, and then, taking a huge chunk of it, 55%, in some cases 45% for some creators. But they take the majority of it when you factor in sales costs and all those sorts of things, nebulous things I add into the equation. For BitMovio, it's very simple. We take a flat 20% of all revenue generated by the platform, whether that's from ads, transactions, microtransactions, tips, gifts, you name it. And the reason we do that is we're not trying to make a business off of other people's content per se. We think there is a huge opportunity just to create a new platform and build an entirely new audience and a new creator audience and partnerships around giving creators that sort of freedom to do what they're lacking on these other platforms. And before we can kind of figure out, the long-term roadmap in terms of where the business will head, and there will be things like, to the Patreon point, crowdfunding of future projects and things where those economics might shift a little bit. But when it comes to the base model, it's a flat 20%. Creators get 80%, and they're keeping the economic upside. I think that's probably the biggest difference beyond the censorship.
Yeah, it's covered.
Okay.
No, that's awesome. I just wanted to bring you on and touch base on this. And everyone knows I'm very transparent with my show and what goes on. And I'm looking at the little receiver light that is a battery, and it's blinking. And I'm afraid that I'm going to lose my microphone during the middle of an important conversation. So we may do a part 2 to this that I'll release with this back to back and maintain the integrity of the conversations instead of having the audio cut out on us in the middle of this. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll just say that right now. We'll do a part 2 to this interview. We'll ask some more questions. And before we go, real quick, tell folks where they can find your platform.
So we are available on the web. Easiest way to remember, it's probably just to go to bitmovio.com, and you can find a link to the site there. It's bitmovio.com. We're also on Android and iOS. Just do a search for BitMovio, and you'll find our app. Very easy. And again, free to use, free to kind of get into the experience, create an account, start watching. You don't have to spend anything. Just enjoy some great content on BitMovio.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, guys. I look forward to talking to you. And thank you for watching this episode of Mysterious Forces Live. Once again, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell and get the notifications. And for all I know, YouTube may be a secondary thought, and I think I'm going with these guys. And we'll keep everyone posted. So this is an important topic. I know that so many of my colleagues out there with other shows, this issue is coming up a lot. We're seeing it on Twitter, we're seeing it in the live chats, and we're seeing it in the comments, what YouTube is doing to sabotage independent content creators. And these guys are going to help us fight back. So tune in for part 2 of this. Thanks for watching. Everyone have a good night.